Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Bernard, and joining me in the studio to talk about his newly appointed position as Alderman of the 12th Ward, Mr. Larry Arnowitz. Welcome to STL TV.
Thank you for inviting me here.
And Alderman Arnowitz is a bit of a mouthful, so I'm just going to call you Larry if you're okay with that.
That's fine.
It's easier for me. So everybody knows you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you've been an Alderman now for about a year, coming up on the 1-year anniversary. So how's it been?
It's been extremely different after being employed by the city for 33 years. I do enjoy what I'm doing. I kind of knew what I was getting into running for alderman because I've been, around City Hall my whole life.
Right, from a very different perspective.
Yes.
So you were employed by the city, now you're employed by the residents,
right.
Almost.
You're correct.
Yeah, so, but that experience of the past 35 years or so has really prepared you. What made you want to run for office?
I've always wanted to be in some political incline, going back as far as Alderman Red Villa.
Yeah.
He was my idol. He got me my first job with the city, and I worked with the city, and we'd always go down to his place and hear all the stories about the city, the days at the Board of Aldermen.
Yeah.
And I watched how he worked with his constituents. They came in to him or he went to them.
And what impressed you about the way he interacted that made you have that same goal?
That he would always try to help someone, and if he couldn't help them, he would at least give him the answer, whether it be right or wrong, if he could do it or not.
Right.
And I just liked that about him because I thought, you really care about the people, and it's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you've been a city resident for a long time, it sounds like.
Yes, ma'am.
Well. So you know the city well, and that prepared you for this position. And so going back, you said that he inspired you because he was helping people, but in your jobs with the city, and you had wore a lot of different hats, you were also helping people along the way. So what are some of the things that you were doing throughout those 35 years?
One of the things, my very first job, I worked in the parking meter division. I worked there till January of 1980, and then I went to the license collector's office.
So what did you do in the parking meter division?
Parking meter division, back then when I was there, I was on a collection route. We took the money out of the meters, we repaired meters, and we had a daily route. Okay, was that fun? Yes. Yeah. Except for the bad weather. So.
Right, exactly, in those little vehicles and getting rained on and snowed on and all of that. And then you have people yelling at you probably.
Once in a while, they said the meter didn't work.
Of course, right. So you were interacting with a lot of people then, and,
yes,
and certainly helping out the city in that job. So what was the next thing that?
Then I went to the license collector's office. I was an investigator for the license collector's office. We basically went out and checked on businesses, made sure their license was up to date, and if it wasn't, we gave them forms to fill out so they could come in and get a license. We also went out to businesses that were delinquent in their taxes. Yeah. And our goal was, or my goal was especially, was to sit down with them, make arrangements to come in and get them on payment schedule. It was hard to have the one big lump sum of money one time. Right. So I got pleasure out of helping people coming in where they could work payment arrangements out.
And solving people's problems, just like you're doing today. Yes. Okay, so then you decided to run for office. Did you retire? Are you retired from the city?
I retired last December.
All right, so then you had some time. Because taking on an elected role, it takes a lot of time. The process itself, and then once you're elected. So what inspired you? Was it the retirement that gave you the time to do it, or something else? No, I
knew I was going to retire and run for alderman, but I didn't tell anyone. I knew a year ahead of time what my plans were. And I knew if I retired, I'd have plenty of times on my hand, as you say, but to work with people, do what I can to help them. I make myself visible in the 12th Ward. I go out a lot of days. I see people out in their yard working. I stop and introduce myself if I've never met them, ask them how things are going. And, we just talk about stuff in general.
Well, it sounds like you were well prepared, and we're going to talk a little bit more about your plans for the 12th Ward coming up. We need to take a break right now. We're going to have much more with Alderman Arnowitz when we return. And remember to keep up with STL TV and all the great events going on around St. Louis. Friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always watch us streaming live on stltv.net. We're back with more after this.